So this box just showed up at my door and I am extremely excited to show you guys this PC. So it's a certified refurbished build from eBay and it's an IdeaCentre Gaming 5i from Lenovo. It comes with this box for both a mouse, your power cord, as well as a box for a keyboard that was almost used as packing material inside of this box. As you can see, very minimal packing material in this box, which is a little bit concerning, but we'll see how the build looks once we unbox it and we take a look at the outside and the inside. But overall, this build is a $700 build with a i7-12700, an RTX 3060, and 16 gigs of RAM with a 512 gig SSD and a 1TB HDD. So it's almost $300 off compared to the new PC if you were to buy it directly from Lenovo. But this is an extremely interesting build because of the performance that you're getting with these parts at the price. And you're also getting the warranty setup and everything else that you get with eBay certified refurbished. And it comes with, it comes from Buy Refurbished US, which has a 98% positive feedback, almost 80,000 items sold. So overall, yeah, it should be a good deal when you're buying a certified refurbished item from eBay. You get that 2-year warranty, like I mentioned, and you also do get 30-day free returns on those items if there's anything wrong with them in that first month. But with the certified refurbished build, you're getting that 2-year warranty. You can file a claim with Allstate, get the thing fixed, possibly replaced. But overall, at least gives you that peace of mind that even though you're buying used, it still has that certified refurbished tagline. And there's actually another 8% discount currently going on eBay for a lot of Lenovo builds. So this one at $700. There's some other items that you can get, like the i9-12900K build with an RTX 3080 in the Legion T7 case for just $1,350 for a 3080 and a 12900K. Pretty insane. Let's dive into this IdeaCentre Gaming 5i and see how this thing made its way through shipping. So we got it out of the box. The packaging wasn't super secure, at least from my liking, being how small this thing is and how little styrofoam and packing material was in that box. But let's just make sure that all the connections are still good, everything's still connected. Make sure that there's no blaring issues on the inside of this thing before we turn her on. So overall, the outside of this case was looking very good. The only thing that's really missing is this one thumb screw on the back of the case, which does have this little panel gap because you're missing that thumb screw to tighten everything down. But overall, the outside of this case looks great. Overall, with the IdeaCentre Gaming 5i, you got 2 USB-A's on the front with a USB-C, and on the back, you got 4 USB-A, Ethernet, an HDMI port, VGA port, and then that 3060 with all its outputs as well. And on the inside, this thing is looking very pristine out of the box. So all the connectors seem to be in place, at least that one motherboard connector, and then our graphics card connector looks to be nice and in place there as well. We'll remove this HDD cage just to kind of get a better look at the motherboard and all the connectors. So one thing you can see with this motherboard is that you only have 2 slots for RAM sticks. The other 2 aren't even populated, so you can really only upgrade your RAM by going up in capacity of each stick. The 3060 is very well secured out of the factory, which is very nice to see. Even though the packing material wasn't great, that 3060 stayed very nice and secure. We have our NVMe drive, our Wi-Fi card as well. So overall, the build looks like it made it through shipping very nicely. But it's time to turn this thing on and actually see if it starts up, if it boots right off the bat. So of course we do get the fans to spin, the LEDs populate on the 3060. But let's see if we get display out on our monitor. And there we go. We do get the Lenovo logo to show up. And overall, this build looks really, really good for that $700 price point. I love the LED strip that goes down the center of the gaming 5i. It just looks really, really cool, and just a little bit of an aesthetic. And overall, I mean, yeah, this thing had no real issues on boot, except for this one little restart that happened, but it looks to be more of a Windows thing than a PC thing. So looks like it's just going to do a little update, and we were booted straight in to Windows. I did jump first into the BIOS just to enable some power settings. So the first one was on this intelligent cooling setting, changing from balanced mode to performance mode, and then just enabling secure boot for games like Valorant that require it. Besides that missing thumb screw, everything is looking very, very good with this IdeaCentre Gaming 5i. I mean, the outside is pretty much blemish free, and on the inside, there were no unplugged or slightly unplugged connectors. The GPU is very, very well secured just out of the factory from Lenovo. So even though the packaging definitely wasn't up to par, overall, it did fare very well in shipping. But now it's time to put this thing to the test. I mean, is it actually worth buying an IdeaCentre Gaming 5i at this $700 price point. It's a 3060 PC with a 12700. I mean, with those specs, you'd be expecting closer to that $1,000 price point that you're getting charged new. But you know, you're getting still a 2-year warranty off of eBay. Overall, it's not a very old PC. I mean, this thing hasn't been out that long. It's probably maybe a year and a half old. But how does it stack up? It's still a used PC. Is the performance going to be there? Are the thermals going to be there from both a thermal paste perspective and overall building perspective? I mean, this thing's definitely not built for super high-end performance. You're not going to get the most out of that 12700, but it's really time to put it to the test and see what you can actually expect in both benchmarks as well as games on this PC. So first test we're going to run is a Furmark and Cinebench just stress test on this PC, and it's been going for almost 10 minutes. And from a CPU perspective, we're looking at around 70 degrees Celsius on the CPU, maxing at around 80 degrees. But we are definitely thermal throttling and dropping down our core clocks. From a GPU perspective, around 72 degrees Celsius, so not crazy hot on the GPU, but we are definitely losing some performance because the core clocks are coming down on our CPU in order to maintain temperatures. So we're just going to run a new Cinebench run just by itself, no Furmark running, just to see what the CPU performance is looking like. So you can see we're pulling a lot of wattage and we're getting very close to that 4.7 max gigahertz turbo, but we do hit 91 degrees Celsius on the package, which then just throttles everything back to 2.5 gigahertz and limits us to just 55 watts. So there is definitely a performance hit if you leave the motherboard and the firmware in its balanced mode on intelligent cooling. But I did then run this thing in the performance mode like I showed, changing it over in the BIOS. So in performance mode, we can hold out those boost clocks a lot longer. We do eventually hit that 90 degrees Celsius still, but when we do throttle back, we're throttling back closer to 2.8 gigahertz versus that 2.5, which led to an almost 1,500, almost 1,700 point increase in Cinebench R23. And when it comes to gaming, we played some Call of Duty, and at 2560 by 1440, we were looking at very close to 110 FPS, and at 1080p, much closer to 125 FPS in that range. And then in Fortnite, very similar at 2560 by 1440, around 108 FPS, and then at that 1080p mark, looking almost at 150 FPS, so perfect for a 144 hertz monitor. And then we switched over to Valorant just to get the max kind of output that we could expect from this thing. Playing at 1440, looking at well over 300 FPS, so you're not really going to ever run into an issue of this thing meeting its max in terms of FPS on a monitor. Overall, this IdeaCentre Gaming 5i is extremely intriguing with this certified refurbished deal. I mean, it's pretty much a less than $650 PC with the extra discount off of eBay, and you're getting amazing components for that price. You're getting the 12700, you're getting a 3060. It also does come with a 500 watt power supply, so if you did want to upgrade your GPU down the line or possibly upgrade your CPU, I definitely don't recommend it with the current cooling solution. You should be able to do that and really make this thing a lasting PC that you can definitely upgrade and replace parts and do all the things you need to do. And it's also nice just having that peace of mind with the 2-year warranty. So this PC is definitely a buy for me. The $700 price point is just too good to beat. And there's a lot of other similar deals out there currently on eBay refurbished for Lenovo products. I mean, we saw like 3080, 3070 for very, very compelling price points. So if you guys are interested in these PCs, in this particular PC, there'll be a link down in the description below. Any questions or comments, definitely leave those down there as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.